As Iran and Israel trade strikes, this morning's Russian newspapers spy potential benefits for Moscow from what is happening. Firstly, in terms of distracting international attention, and particularly America's attention, from Russia's war in Ukraine. The headline in Moskovsky Komsomolets, Kyiv forgotten. Putin telephoned Trump and wished him happy birthday. It seems this call has frightened Ukraine and Europe more than the Iran-Israel conflict. What's more, we were happy to hear the US Secretary of State, Marco Rubio, congratulating Russians on Russia Day. US anti-drone systems are being taken away from Ukraine and moved to the Middle East, and generally weapon supplies to Ukraine are being reduced. Trump has stopped talking about settling the Russia-Ukraine conflict. As cynical as this may sound, on a tactical level, there are pluses for us from the conflict between Iran and Israel. It should be noted that even before this, Trump stopped talking about Russia and Ukraine. He seems to have tired of being a go-between. And now comes this very friendly telephone call from Putin. Happy birthday, Donald. The situation's pretty clear. Kyiv has been forgotten. It's been left to us, Russia, to deal with Kyiv. And to deal with Europe too, because we will have to sort out Europe. They won't leave us in peace. Same paper, different journalist, wondering who Russia should side with. On the one hand, Iran is our partner and ally, with which, after much hard work, we signed a comprehensive strategic partnership agreement recently. Although it often feels like, even with this partnership deal, Tehran is attending its own wedding and we're attending ours. On the other hand, despite all the buts, Israel isn't exactly alien to us. As the song goes, our immigrants are a quarter of the population. The journalist concludes, Russian diplomacy must do one thing, act only so as to benefit Russia. Not Iran, not Israel, not Europe, not America, not anyone, just Russia. Because even though these peoples and countries are not totally alien to us, this is not our war at all. And only our own interest should concern us. Period. Kommersant today. Putting aside humanitarian considerations and thinking cynically, the latest round of Israel-Iran confrontation seems to benefit Russia. First of all, because it's clear that any escalation in the Middle East automatically results in a rise in global energy prices. The bigger the scale of hostilities, which could include Tehran blocking the Strait of Hormuz, the greater will be the global demand for Russian oil and gas. Second, any Middle East escalation distracts Moscow's opponents from Ukraine and alters the priorities for Western programs of military assistance. Third, Russia could theoretically play the role of impartial arbiter between the conflicting sides, helping, if not to resolve the crisis, then at least to de-escalate it. This way, Moscow would strengthen its influence in the region after the fall of Assad in Syria. However, escalation also carries serious risks and potential costs for Moscow. The fact remains that Russia was unable to prevent Israel's mass strike on a country with which 5 months ago Russia signed a comprehensive strategic partnership agreement. Moscow is clearly not ready to provide military support to Iran. What's more, escalation in the Middle East risks additional complications for dialogue with the US. And in the longer term, the risks for Moscow may only increase if you consider that Israel's main aim is not to halt Iran's nuclear program, not even to change Iran's behaviour in the region, but regime change. Nezavissimaya Gazeta writes, Iran may block the Strait of Hormuz, through which 30% of global supplies of liquefied natural gas and 20% of global oil pass. This will obviously raise commodity prices. Experts believe the Russian treasury will benefit. Similarly, Komsomolskaya Pravda today, and an expert from the financial university suggests if there will be strikes on the oil infrastructure of Iran, which exports about 1.5 million barrels a day, exports could be cut by a third, and oil prices will rise to $80 or $90 a barrel. A large portion of Iran's oil is sold to China. Less Iranian oil will increase demand for Russian oil. Then our exporters can raise the price of Russian oil, reducing the discounts that partners in China have been buying at. Russia's revenues will increase considerably. RBK quotes the Russian Foreign Minister's statement criticising Israel for unprovoked military strikes against a sovereign state, a member of the UN, on its citizens, on its peaceful cities asleep at night. This from a country which in 2022 launched a full-scale invasion of a sovereign state, a member of the UN, Ukraine, and which has been carrying out strikes on its neighbour for more than 3 years.